The city of Port Charles has witnessed countless departures over the years, but none felt quite as emotional as the day Kristina Corinthos-Davis decided it was time to leave. For most of her life, Kristina had been deeply connected to the town. Every street held a memory. Every corner reminded her of triumphs, heartbreaks, friendships, and family battles that helped shape the woman she had become. Yet, standing at the waterfront, as the sun rose over the harbor, Kristina knew something had changed. She could no longer ignore the feeling growing inside her. It was time for a new beginning. The decision hadn't come easily. For months, Kristina had struggled with questions about her future. The endless drama of Port Charles had taken its toll. Family conflicts, painful losses, and emotional scars had left her exhausted. She loved her family. She loved her friends. But she had started to lose sight of herself, and that realization terrified her. When Kristina finally shared the news, reactions were immediate: shock, disbelief, heartbreak. Many assumed she would eventually change her mind. After all, people often threatened to leave Port Charles only to return days later. But this time felt different. This time, Kristina was serious. The hardest conversation came with her father. Their relationship had survived countless storms over the years, but saying goodbye proved more difficult than either expected. As they sat together in silence, emotions filled the room. Neither wanted to admit how painful the moment truly was. Finally, Kristina spoke. "I need to find out who I am away from all of this." Her father nodded slowly. Though his heart was breaking, he understood. Sometimes the people we love most need space to discover their own path. The days leading up to her departure became a whirlwind of emotional farewells. Friends stopped by one after another. Some offered encouragement, others begged her to stay. A few simply hugged her tightly, unable to find the right words. Each farewell carried its own weight. Each farewell reminded Kristina how much she would miss the people who had become her chosen family. As news spread through town, even those who had clashed with Kristina over the years found themselves reflecting on her impact. She had fought fiercely for the people she loved. She had refused to give up when life became difficult. And she had always followed her heart, even when it led her into dangerous territory. Those qualities earned respect throughout Port Charles. On her final evening, a small gathering was held in her honor. The atmosphere was bittersweet, laughter mixed with tears. Old stories were shared, memories filled every conversation. For one night, the drama of Port Charles seemed to fade away as everyone focused on celebrating Kristina's journey. When it came time to leave, the emotions became impossible to hide. Friends embraced her tightly, family members struggled to let go. Even Kristina found herself fighting back tears. No matter how excited she felt about the future, leaving behind everything she had ever known was heartbreaking. The following morning, the train station buzzed with quiet emotion. Suitcase in hand, Kristina stood on the platform, surrounded by the people who loved her most. The train's arrival felt like a countdown, a final reminder that the moment had come. As she hugged everyone one last time, tears flowed freely. Promises were made, phone calls were promised, future visits were planned. Yet everyone understood that life was about to change. When the conductor called for passengers to board, Kristina took one final look around, at her family, at her friends, at the city she had called home. Then she smiled, not because she wasn't sad, but because she was ready. Ready to discover new opportunities, ready to chase new dreams, ready to become the person she was meant to be. As the train slowly pulled away, the skyline of Port Charles began to disappear into the distance. A chapter had ended, a new one was beginning, and although Kristina Corinthos-Davis was saying goodbye to Port Charles, she wasn't leaving behind the love, lessons, and memories that had shaped her life. Those would travel with her forever. Because sometimes the bravest thing a person can do isn't staying where they're comfortable, it's finding the courage to leave and discover what lies beyond the horizon.